Up next, we have mood slash tone. Mood and tone. We're taking these two together because they are often used interchangeably. People think they mean the same thing. They are only similar. There's actually differences between them. So while mood has to do with the feelings, the feelings of the reader, like the feelings the reader gets from the literary work, tone has to do with the writer's expression. So let's see. Mood is the feeling of the readers, while tone is the writer's expression. Mood is the feeling of the readers, while tone is the writer's expression. So the feelings readers get after, like, they get from a literary work is the mood, while the tone is the writer's expression. To get the tone of a particular work, you check the writer's diction, that's the writer's choice of words, you check the sentence structure, the phrases used, like that. But to get the mood, you need more than just the diction. You need the diction, you need the tone, then you check the plot as well as the settings. So those things help to determine the mood, while the tone just relies on the writer's diction. To get the mood, you check the setting, the plot, the tone as well. So tone helps to determine mood, which is why they are really like similar. Tone helps to determine mood, but they are not the same. So up next we have allegory. An allegory is a story with a double meaning. Double meaning. A story that have, let's say, two meanings. It could have the literal meaning, like the one you see when you just like go through it, and then there's a deeper symbolic meaning. So allegories are like stories that use animals, objects, different characters to represent like actual concepts or ideas. That's allegory for you. It has a literal meaning and a symbolic meaning, like what it really means apart from the surface meaning. Good examples of allegories are fables and parables. E.g., fables. Fables, parables, they are good examples of allegories. Take, for example, so many parables in the Bible, just like the literal story. A farmer went to plant seeds. As he was going, some seeds fell by the wayside, some fell on top rocks, some just according to the story. If you were, there's a literal meaning. Okay, a seed fell by the wayside. People stepped on it, and the seed did not grow. It died. That's a literal meaning. But we know that that parable was not actually referring to seeds. Jesus was referring to people that heard the word of God. So that's two meanings to that parable. Parables have two meanings, double meanings. Same thing with fables. Fables use animals to like represent the concept. A good example of a fable that has double meaning is Animal Farm by George Orwell. Animal Farm. An allegory that uses animals to represent concepts or ideas is a fable. So an allegory is a story with a double meaning, and it has a literal meaning and a symbolic meaning. And in allegories, you can use anything as characters to represent a deeper idea or to convey a message. Rhyme is simply the repetition of sounds at the end of a word. At the end of words. Rhyme is the repetition of sounds at the end of words, and it helps to create this flow, and it also helps readers remember. It helps readers remember better when you have rhyme. There are different types of rhyme. You have perfect rhymes when the words totally match, both in consonant and vowel sound. We have the half rhyme, alternate rhyme, masculine rhyme, feminine rhyme, different kinds of rhyme. But it literally has to do with the repetition of sounds at the end of the word. Another one we have cliche. Is an expression that's been overused. So a cliche is an expression that has been overused. As a result of this, it has lost its originality, it has lost its freshness or even creativity. Let's put it that way. So maybe the first time you heard it, you'll be like, yes, word, fact. But then as you keep hearing and you keep listening to it, it will lose its significance. You no longer find it entertaining or creative or intelligent at best. So that's a cliche. As much as it is advisable to writers to avoid the use of cliche in their writing because it can make a work appear unoriginal and tiresome to readers, it is you can also incorporate it to infuse humor. It can be a source of humor in writing, but it should be a well-known cliche. Otherwise, the purpose will be lost. So examples of cliche in like our everyday expressions, we have what God cannot do does not exist. So that expression has been so overused. Even situations that God didn't do anything, the answer is always what cannot do does not exist. The person that steals and as a source of income will still tell you that it is God, like that, like that. So that expression has been overused. It has even been misused. Then we have love is blind, once upon a time, how they live happily ever after. Those are examples of common cliche that we experience or that we see every day. Next, we have tautology. Tautology is a literary device used by writers to repeat things. Tautology is a literary device used by writers to repeat things. It could be like repeating the same word or repeating synonyms of that word just to like make sure that you're still on that idea. This is the idea that I'm trying to pass, and it's usually used for emphasis when you're trying to reinforce the idea you want to pass. So you could use tautology. Now, tautology in our everyday usage includes ATM machine. The M in ATM already stands for machine. So you saying ATM machine is a repetition or personal opinion. Your opinion is like you saying personal opinion. Opinion is your take. Then still saying personal again is like repetitive or free gift. If I tell you that it is a gift, you don't have to pay. So there are no like expensive gifts that you pay for, paid gift per se. So free gift is like a repetition. Gifts are free. So you saying free gift is a repetition. So for you to incorporate tautology in your work, you have to do it effectively. So it doesn't appear redundant or inexperienced like our everyday usage. So it's actually an effective tool for emphasis, but you have to use it skillfully if you want to avoid you don't want it coming off as a mistake. You don't want it to pass off as a mistake. Next, you have idiom. An idiom or expression that has a different meaning. We have an idiom. An idiom is a saying or expression that has a different meaning from its literal meaning. Where allegory is a story, an idiom is an expression or a saying that has double meanings, a literal meaning and a deeper meaning. Let's put it that way. So, idiom is not really as it is, and it helps writers pass complex messages using simple words. Writers use idioms to pass complex messages across. Example of an idiom, you have off the hook. Doesn't necessarily mean you're hooked somewhere or so. Just when someone says you're off the hook means you're free or it's a piece of cake. When you say something is a piece of cake, it simply means that thing is easy. It is not difficult. Or you say cold shoulder. You're not actually giving someone a shoulder that is cold. Instead, you're ignoring. So many idioms that have a different meaning from their literal meaning. It's not just as you are reading it, that's what it means. So if you do not have any idea of idioms and you come across works that utilize the literary device, works that utilize idioms as a literary device, you may find it difficult to understand the message that the writer is trying to pass across. So that's idioms.